running into people from your past is hard. You have to act excited. You have to make small talk. And they always try to sell you something. I get it, man. It's awkward.
Maul actually has supplements. He's like, you will become a distributor and become your own boss. In this week's episode, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's not what the announcer sounds like at all. That's so bad. But the Clone Wars announcer, he's like pretty iconic. Welcome to Talk About Tatooine. I'm Andrew.
I'm Nathan.
And we're twin brothers here to bring you what's new in nerddom and give colorful commentary on our favorite subjects. Welcome to our cantina, grab a drink, and settle in as we set course realities beyond our own.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 145. Super excited we made it this far, brother. Today's recording date is March 4th, and this episode will be released on Monday, March 9th. Hit that like and subscribe, and join the Silly Goose Brigade.
Doesn't matter if you've been in the fandom for 10 years or 10 seconds. You are welcome, and we're happy you're here. Do you remember when we were guest podcasters on the MCU Bleeding Edge?
Was that the round table of the 9 of us? That was horrible. That was a horrible experience. I hated that.
The round table of the 9 virgins. It's kind of what it felt like.
Except I was like, hey, I don't feel comfortable here. Married over here, so that doesn't feel relatable. Like, get me out of here.
Actually, I've been considered a cool person for most of my life. I like to think of myself as a reformed jock.
I am known for being the funny guy at work. The guy I sit next to is like, dude, you just got all the one-liners. And it's really because my humor is like unhinged, like army talk. And it's just fantastic. And we have no HR department. Like, we just don't have a department that they care about what you say. Because if it's funny enough, you can say it to anybody.
That is so true. I've definitely been like pushing the limits with some of my coworkers who like do have good senses of humor. And I'm like, I'm going to make sure HR isn't listening, or I'll message them on Teams and be like, I'm going to text you something. This is not going to be on the record.
This is what we call not safe for work.
Yeah, while there's definitely certain aspects of my job that I don't like, which probably is the same for absolutely everyone, I do really like the people I work with. That helps a ton. I
do too. I feel like I have a really good team right now.
Let's see. We are... weekly reminder to read a book. Nathan, what are you reading?
I am on the 4th book of the Red Rising series. So super excited about that. Iron Gold. It is interesting so far. Part 1 ends in a devastating fashion. Just devastating is really the only word I can say there. There's a lot of interesting thing happens. Keep in mind, this book is a 4-way perspective book. It's the perspective
a lot
of Darrow, Ephraim, Lyria, and Lysander. Like, it's
correct.
Thank goodness each one is a different narrator, because there's half the time where I'm like, who are we being narrated by right now? And I'm like, oh, I can tell because of who's talking. Yeah.
I can't tell you who the next book, who the perspectives are, but like one of them is Darrow. Like, that's obvious.
I'm just kidding.
So the next book has been so devastating and like so sad that I am not actually convinced that Darrow has plot armor. Like, he is like this like really capable warrior, but if Pierce Brown was like, I am going to kill Darrow, I'd be like, yeah, that tracks. You seem terrible and awful, and like you want to hurt your fans.
Cool. So I have that to look forward to. But we have talked on the podcast before that his MO for keeping characters alive or killing them is essentially literally pulling names from a hat. That's correct, right?
Correct. That is from an interview with him. That's what he loves to do. That's
crazy. That's a bummer, because that made me really upset in Morning Star because of a certain character that got unalived. So, sweet.
Yeah, it sucks.
It was too soon.
I'll cut this out. Which character are you talking about? I'm going to cut all this because obviously spoilers. Yeah, that sucks. Hated that.
With our weekly reminder to read a book here, guys, if you notice that there was a cut there, it's because we cut out some spoilers for you guys. But we do talk about all the books we like in spoiler brackets over on our Discord, so make sure you guys join the Patreon. We're coming up with new stuff. We are going to be talking about the Clone Wars Season 4, Episode 22, Revenge, today. Andrew, go ahead and start us off, please.
Interestingly enough, this is actually the arc where we first see the red Clone Wars logo. I actually think it's the episode before, but like this arc is the red Clone Wars logo. And the intro text is "The enemy of my enemy is my friend," which will certainly come into play. I actually had to rewatch this to understand what this meant, because there was a very particular detail that I wasn't paying attention for, and I missed it. And then when a certain character comes in to save other character, the entire time I was just confused. I was like, why is this person here? What just happened? So thankfully I rewatched and I had to actually rewrite a bunch of my notes. So yeah, Nathan.
I was kind of bummed that you mentioned the red text, because I was like, it's red because Maul is in it, and you wrote it down, and I was like, oh, well,
yes,
that was going to be my first original take, and you already put it in there, so that's cool. Should have been my notes first. You beat me to it. Early bird gets the worm.
This is true, guys. If you remember watching our last episode, Maul's alive. You know this now. It's not a spoiler.
What?
So, is that who that was? Oh my god. So
I just thought it was somebody else.
Maul is actually taken back to Dathomir, but essentially won't get off the boat or the ship. You know what I'm saying? He is still fully insane at this point. The only thing that Savage did, he's like, hey, I got him. Can one of you witches kind of take care of him, please? I do not understand how he even got him on the ship in the first place without him tearing everything to pieces, but he did.
I will say, I think Maul got onto this planet. Now put your tinfoil hats on. Via wormhole, he fell down the shaft of Naboo and popped out in the trash planet.
That's
Stargates, man.
Dude, we are never going to get the explanation of how Maul got from Naboo to the junk planet, which name Lotho Minor, and then now he's back on Dathomir. So that's where we're on the story. Dathomir.
So second silly theory is that Darth Maul is a worm, and when you cut a worm in half, one of its halves will regenerate, and that's what happens, except we found out that Darth Maul's legs regenerated, not his upper half. So no, that doesn't even make sense because he's got spider legs. Okay, ignore my worm joke. It's fine. We didn't get there, folks. We didn't get there.
The real question is would you love me if I was still a worm?
No.
No, absolutely not.
Anytime I've ever been asked that question, no, ew, I'm going to get rid of you as fast as possible.
Ew, no thank you. Okay, so, let's see. On the ship, Maul is actually kind of muttering Kenobi's name a whole bunch, which aren't we all?
Same, dude.
Same, dude. And at this point, they have arrived back at Dathomir, and Mother Talzin reappears in quite a dramatic fashion. You know, you see the green kind of smoke swirl around, and she approaches the ship that Maul is on, and Savage is like, dude, can you help me get this, unload this cargo? I got him here, but, I need you to take him the last 10 feet. And this is so weird. Also, her accent's a little... What is her accent? It sounds Transylvanian.
Yeah, all her W's are V's, so a wood is a wood, and then you basically have it.
Yeah, she's like a 1930s vampire.
She gives off great vampire aura. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. That's actually a plus. So,
Mommy? What?
Did you notice the way she lures Maul off the ship?
Yeah, she might as well be shaking her keys in front of his head.
That's really what it felt like, dude. I'm so glad you said that. She's like, look at the pretty light. She summons this green orb and just holds it in front of his face, and he's like, oh! It's like he almost starts floating after it like a cartoon dog would after the fumes of a fresh-baked apple pie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. It's very silly. But you know what? You always got to follow the scary witch lady and the magic orb. Like that's the rule. You can't ignore that.
Yeah, like she could drag me out to sea any day. You know, I get it.
I understand, man. You are seen here. You're safe here.
At this point in the story, Maul is taken into this very cool, like, ritual space. It's almost like, so they take them into the cave of the Night Sisters, which is quite a large cave, and around it is, like, different pools of different things with, like, kind of a center island, and it's got these different spokes going off in each directions. It's almost very Chaos-y, like from Warhammer. I didn't count the spokes, but if there was 8 of them, it's like, oh, she's, clearly using demon magic, which she kind of is, like, let's be honest, which is super cool.
So cool.
And so this is one thing that I think Star Wars kind of does a bad job at. And like, I really like this episode and I'm trying to be positive. However, Star Wars is not very good at chanting, because they start chanting over him to like do whatever magic or whatever. And it comes off as silly.
Yeah, so I actually notated that. I was like, it's like a Gregorian chant like starts playing in the background. First of all, it should be ladies singing it, because it's the planet of the Night Sisters. So I'm like, come on, stay on theme here, guys. You don't have a bunch of Night Brothers in the background like doing their chants. Should have been a bunch of ladies. Would have been cool. Maybe an opportunity for a redemption chant, because last time we had a chant, it wasn't that good. Just wasn't good.
Are you talking about the one from
The Acolyte?
The Acolyte. Yeah, I actually brought that up in my notes, just a couple lines down. Star Wars is bad at chants. I can't really put my finger on it, but it comes off as like cheesy. And I understand in the Clone Wars, it comes off as cheesy because Star Wars has to do a certain amount of infantilizing, or essentially making it safe for children, because this still has a PG rating. Like, there's a certain age bracket that it's like, hey, we can't go creepier than this, or it's going to turn to TV 14, and then we can't play it on whatever network it originally aired on. You know what I'm saying?
Can I also say that, like, if this was not Star Wars, this would be a satanic panic moment.
Yes.
100%. You would have, like...
It might still have been.
Yeah, you would have groups like 1 Million Moms who are like, anything that's even remotely magic is evil, and they like try to get like stuff banned all over the place. This 100% would fall in that category, but they're probably like kind of okay with it because they're like, but it's Star Wars. Like, everybody knows that Star Wars isn't real, right? Yeah.
Well,
so,
I mean,
shit like that would happen.
There's still a pretty significant population that like won't read or touch Harry Potter because it deals with magic. Like those people are kind of lame, and need to like take a chill pill and an Ambien or 5.
Hey man, if magic was real, more people would do it. I'm just saying. You think I wouldn't cast Wingardium Leviosa on my weights and then deadlift 700 pounds? Yeah.
You guys want to see something special?
Yeah, I absolutely
I am the
would.
chosen one. Okay, so, but actually back to the Night Sisters, though. So Talzin administers anesthesia. This should really be in, like, heavy quotations, because she just does, like, a single, like, finger, like, touch on his forehead, and he's just out. Like,
great sound effect on that forehead touch, by the way.
Yes, it's very cool. And this kind of got me thinking. Like, one of the reoccurring themes is the dark side folks is rivalry and power, right? It's like every one of them wants to be super powerful, and it has to come at the expense of those other people seeking power. I know Sidious sees the Night Sisters as a threat because he tried to wipe them out, but Talzin is like the most powerful Night Sister alive, and she survived the culling. What is her fate? Like, does she die later? Like, because I feel like Palpatine is not happy that she survived.
Well, but she doesn't she show up in Rebels? Because they have some Night Sisters in there too.
They have Night Sister like spirits, but I don't know that Talzin shows up. It's been a minute.
Because like Sabine gets like possessed at one point. So
correct.
We know that happens, but I don't remember if Mother Talzin comes in or not.
Yeah,
but yeah, she's Rebels, theoretically alive.
Yeah, I feel like she's way too powerful to just be walking around the universe. And maybe there's like a comic somewhere that explains what happened to her. That if you guys know what happened to her, go ahead and let us know in the comments. I see you have your hand raised.
Theory time. She's going to show up in Ahsoka season 2.
That would be so cool. I would freak the crap out. I was so cool. Happy when the Night Sister witches showed up. Yeah, I loved it. Like, we still don't really understand what Peridia is and why Thrawn needed a giant hyperspace ring, the Eye of Sion, to attach to his chimera to go there.
It's an exoplanet. It's a planet that's still habitable, but is outside our current galaxy.
That is sick. That's cool.
And exoplanet's just a cool name.
Yes, it is. I'm excited. I can't wait till Ahsoka season 2. I feel like we've waited kind of a long time. I feel like, and this is maybe some more speculation, is we're going to get more information on what's going to happen in Ahsoka season 2 in the new Mandalorian movie. I bet they'll do like a post-credit scene and be like, Ahsoka will return in season 2, or she'll get her own movie or something. I mean, she deserves it. I think that'd be super cool.
Do you think Rosaria Dawson is going to cameo in The Mandalorian and Grogu?
I don't know, because, okay, remind me how Ahsoka ends. Do they commandeer the Purrgil and go after them?
I can't remember, but I think they make it back to our galaxy, don't they? I gotta watch it again.
Yeah, I gotta watch it again. I don't remember. It's been too long.
The details are a little fuzzy, ladies and gentlemen. You got 2 old men who don't remember everything they watch.
What happened? No, in Ahsoka season 1 is like really good. The only thing I didn't like about Ahsoka season 1 is Sabine's gut shot. Like, that should have killed her. Too many people in Star Wars get stabbed in the stomach and survive.
Yeah, that's going through your intestines, your spine, your kidneys, your liver, in one of those combinations. It's hitting one of those major organs, and you're probably dying. Maybe it'll lacerate your spleen. Nobody knows.
And the thing is like, I understand she got basically immediate medical attention, so it's like sort of believable, but like the same thing also happens to one of the, not the Night Sisters, it's one of the sisters from the Inquisitorius. She gets stabbed because she like reveals, she's like, yeah, I'm all like metal inside now because I got stabbed and lived. But like, it happens a few times.
Somehow I lived.
Somehow I lived.
That one girl from the Acolyte who got 3-hole punched, she's alive. That's super weird.
Nah, she's hella dead.
Yeah, she's super dead.
What a spectacular death. It is a 10 out of 10 death. I gasped out loud. People can hate on the Acolyte all they want for whatever story stuff they didn't agree with, but the lightsaber fights were 10 out of 10. They were so good.
So good. Absolutely.
They were top tier. I actually would like the Acolyte to come back specifically so I can... I still want to know what happens to these characters. Like, yeah, I don't know. Star Wars fans are weird. We should probably talk about the actual episode.
Take us into our next point, brother.
So at this point, we already talked. Chanting is happening. Maul is under anesthesia. And I thought I was being very funny when I wrote this, is Maul takes a mental health break from his mental health break.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. He literally, like, the spell is literally pulling black goop and, like, ectoplasm from his body. Did you notice that the spell also makes the black veins in his body, and so the black veins get cleaned up, his skin becomes more red, and his horns are shorter at the end of the ritual.
I actually didn't notice that. That's a really keen eye. I'm glad you brought that up. So essentially it's him being brought back to a state of sanity.
Yes. In a outward manifestation of that.
So is it true also to say that like the longer the horns are on a Zabrak, the more like unhinged they are? Because like Savage has really long horns.
I don't know, because we only have a sample size of like 2.
Well, and part of his infusion of Night Sister magic makes his horns longer.
Maybe it's like a power status thing. But that would also indicate that he gets less powerful based on the length of his horns. Or we're thinking too much about this and it's just kind of like a haircut. I don't know.
I think it does have to do with like how unhinged they are. Like maybe it's like because Savage, for lack of a better term, he is not meant to be a stepping stone of the Sith. He's not meant to be a part of the Sith Order. He is literally just a tool. Like, a lot of his lightsaber form, there is no form. He has no finesse whatsoever, but he's got all this muscle. You know, his strength category is maxed out, and he's like, I don't need anything else. Like, when we first see him back in like season 2 or 3, I think it's season 3, they give him a spear, like a halberd, and they're like, you're not even going to get a lightsaber. And he cuts through a bunch of people. It's disastrous because he's like, I don't even need this. Like, he chokes out a bunch of people. He's breaking necks. He's throwing people. That's all he cares about.
Great kid show.
Yeah, great kid show. As long as they don't see the people who actually get beheaded, it's fine. And there's no spray of blood. You don't get the TV-14. Let's see. I also thought it was really interesting that Talzin has the ability to just like, oh, you have depression? I'm going to take that out of your brain. Oh, you have anxiety? I'm going to take that out and be like, how does one sign up for this medical treatment? And are there side effects?
Me next, please.
The side effects include raging diarrhea, ghost poops.
Worth it.
All right, you should take us to our next point.
We then get to Maul's de-legging, his de-spiderification, and then he gets new legs, which is awesome. Good thing there's all those super battle droids lying around, or we wouldn't have all these parts for new legs. Also, I just want to say, she did a great job. We need to get more women in male-dominated fields. She's a great mechanic.
Slay, queen. Slay. Slay your enemies. And she does. She 100% does. She is super scary. Let's see. So she does. She uses parts scavenged from the remains of the B2 super battle droids from the Battle of Dathomir. Maul gets his new legs, and I do also want to point out that the armor on the B2 is significantly stronger than, like, B1. Like, I think it would be really funny if Maul was given B1 battle droid legs. He would look so goofy.
That'd be so bad. You're like, hey man, you got stick legs.
But the legs he's given are definitely a serious upgrade. Because it's not only the B2 metal, but it's also infused with Night Sister magic because he's kind of got clawed feet still. In my opinion, honestly, the B2s are so awesome. If they hadn't cost so much more to produce compared to the B1s, the Separatists probably would have rolled the Republic. In different campaigns like the Battle of Christophsis and Dantooine, because I figured this out in some of my research, there was actually like a larger than average number of B2s, and the Republic has a hard time in those fights. They have trouble. It doesn't go well for them.
You're telling me a wrist rocket is hard to counter?
Watch out for those wrist rockets.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've pinged a verbal stim. We got him.
That's one stim for the day. The level of Sith sorcery, because that's essentially what this is. This is dark side sorcery. Maybe not necessarily quote-unquote Sith, because the magics that she uses are very unique to the Night Sisters. I would like to see more of this in the movie. I think Star Wars could do a really good job cranking up the creepy factor to like 11. Give us something to shiver about.
Oh, absolutely. And then as he's coming out of his trance, his anesthesia, Talzin pieces out immediately. She gets out of there. She's like, I am not saying hi to this guy because he could kill me. And he is not stoked about Savage being there.
The first thing Maul does is he grabs Savage by the face because Savage is like, hello, brother. Like, I wish I actually took a tally of how many times Savage calls him brother, and it like immediately pisses Maul off because he's like, we're not equals, because that's what he thinks Savage is saying. And he also says that overtly in the next episode as well.
Yeah,
he's
just
like,
calls him on it.
Yeah, he's like, we don't need to, there's no place for dominance in this relationship. And Maul's like, bet, and like kicks the crap out of him.
Yeah, then he quotes the rule of 2 to the colossus of a man, and you're like, okay, like, the Koloss can't read, dude. Like, he's just big and strong.
Yeah, he's not there because he's smart. He's there because he's a beef castle. Like, that's all he's good for. So at this point, when Maul comes out of his stupor, he says, "It's been so long." It's like, yeah, I actually looked it up, and it's been over a decade. According to the Star Wars Timeline book, a tome in which I should probably get my hands on. It's pretty cool. This episode takes place in 20 BBY, so before the Battle of Yavin, whereas episode 1, The Phantom Menace, occurs in 32 BBY, so 12 years from when he lost his legs. I do also want to point out that episode 2 is in 22 BBY, so we're still only 2 years removed from the start of the Clone Wars, and the Revenge of the Sith is in 19 BBY. So the Clone Wars is like 3 to 4 years, which is very fast for how large of a conflict it is.
Oh, 100%. If there was that much chaos and destruction on that large of a scale in such a short time, like, you can see why the Republic just burns through money. They're like, we cannot manufacture things fast enough, which is true. They can't. Like, in their defense, the scale for Star Wars is all off. Like, they're like, we have 1 million units or 100,000 units and 1 million more are on the way. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to cut it. Like,
1 million is not a lot of troops.
It's not even a lot of troops by our standards. And we stay on one planet.
Yeah. It reinforces my belief that Attack of the Clones is the worst written Star Wars movie.
It should have been an order of magnitude bigger. It should have been 1 billion. Or I guess that's 3 orders of magnitude, I think.
It should be 10 million clones. They'd be like, here's 10 million clones. Because even at the Battle of Geonosis, multiple acclimators land on the planet, and their primary purpose is just to carry clones. And I'm like, you guys... there's a lot of clones here, and it is way more than 200,000. I bet if we were to look in the vehicle specs of the acclimator and how many troops it could carry, and assuming it was full, and then counted the acclimators on screen, we could probably come up with a more accurate number of how many clones were on Geonosis. Because it is a full-scale invasion.
I believe that would be a very fun side project for later.
I just finished watching Attack the Clones, and seriously, it's probably one of the only Star Wars movies I don't enjoy. The sequels, I'm at this point in my life, I'm basically neutral. I've gone through a lot of therapy. They don't just make me mad, but episode 2 is weird. It weirds me out. It primarily starts with the relationship between Padme and Anakin. And from there, I just can't get over it. And there's so much other stuff that starts to bother me. My suspension of disbelief for that film is non-existent. I'm like, why is any of this happening?
Yeah, that's super fair. I am looking through some of the specs for the acclimators right now. And if this won't be a project we'll tackle today, but if we tackle one of these ships, we do need to make sure that we are using the canon source, because guess what? The canon source and the legend source is different by about 7,000 troops per ship.
So percentage-wise, if there's only a maximum of 200,000 clones, that's a pretty significant margin. But if we're talking about the actual size of what the Republic military should be, that's like a drop in the bucket. One thing that's also not talked about in the Clone Wars, and I'm sorry, we're a little bit off topic, the primary military doctrine of the Republic was teaching planets to rise up for themselves, to fight their own wars, because they did not have the manpower available to fight off the legions and legions of droids swarming onto their planets. And we really only see this on Onderon. It's pretty much the only arc we get in the entire Clone Wars where they teach a planet to rise up and fight for himself. You could probably argue Mandalore a little bit, but the Republic is fighting against them. It's not ideal. The large-scale battles, actually like Mandalore and also like the second Battle of Geonosis, it's not looking good. It's actually a miracle that the Republic won those fights at all. I mean, part of it has to do with a clone trooper is incredibly more capable than a B-1 battle droid. But the thing is they can still die in one hit. So volume of fire is very important.
Absolutely. Also, weight of fire is a really fun metric to calculate. Not gonna lie, it's just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, this is really neat. We should talk more about this, because blaster bolts per square foot, super fun to calculate.
That technically would be a flux measurement, so it'd be like blaster flux or plasma flux.
Boo nerd.
Don't boo me.
I'm just kidding. That's not a very good way to yes and my co-host. I'm sorry.
Okay, I guess I'll shut up now. Okay, can you re-rail us? Can you rail us real good? Get us back on the rails? Is that not how to say that? Did I say that weird?
Hey guys, so you're going to notice there was like a weird cut in the audio that's super strange. So we're back. We're talking. No, I'm just kidding.
What? I edit this. That's staying in. I'm happy with that joke.
I have no power here. It's all right. So we do go through the timelines. Sam Witwer gets a really, really good scream here. I'm glad you noticed that too, because I was like, oh God, he does such a good work. He also says, my hatred kept my spirit intact, even though my body was not. Being in his right faculties, Maul senses the galaxy is unbalanced, and when Savage remarks about the Clone Wars being part of current events, he said, ah, yes, so it began without me. Savage doesn't understand why that's important, so Maul tells him. And this is where we get revenge. So yeah, here's my thing. Kenobi took his legs, right? Okay. But you got your legs back. So should he not be more worried about Sidious at this time? Because he's like, I studied under the most powerful man in the galaxy. Should your goal not just be to get to that spot? Because he knows that Sidious is trying to kill the Jedi. So would it not be more advantageous for him to find Dooku, kill him, and regain his title as apprentice? Would that not make more sense? Because then he would still have opportunities to fight Obi-Wan. But because he gets sidetracked, it doesn't really work out for him.
So you're kind of saying that because essentially he becomes consumed with his rage so much that he loses sight of the whole goal.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. As you may have heard, there is a lot going on between the US and the Middle East, specifically with Israel and Iran. Here at Talk About Tatooine, we like to keep ourselves informed and up to date on goings-on. We see time and time again how propaganda is used against the people in our favorite fictional universes and how it's being used here as well. That's why we use Ground News, a sponsor that we sought out so that we can stay informed and help our neighbors and stay above all of the misinformation. With factuality scores and biased distributions, Ground News does the hard work to analyze the articles, identify bias, and let you know if what you are reading is trustworthy. Check out Ground News today so you can stay up to date, and please support our podcast by using the link in the description.
I love coffee. A lot. That's why we have decided to partner with Javi as our first advertiser. Javi is a series of coffee products, including coffee concentrate, which we have personally both tasted and enjoyed. I find simple comfort in the original coffee concentrate that I mix with almond milk and brown sugar to make a rich iced tea that feels perfect for the spring and summer weather. The mocha concentrate is an easy recommendation, as coffee and chocolate are the perfect pair. These small bottles are good for dozens of servings, or if you're a real caffeine fiend, less. Mix it hot or cold. Either works if you're looking for a quick and delicious way to keep that sweet bean dream marching forward. Shoppers who use our link in the description get a discount on their order and directly supports this podcast. You must use the link. Elevate your coffee today with Javi. Follow the link on screen and in the description and ride that dopamine train straight to Beantown. Can we say that? Yeah, of course we can. That's code TALKABOUT T97755. Or follow the link on screen or in the description. Now, back to the show. With that, though, based on kind of like the rantings we talked about in the previous episode, I don't know that Maul even sees that as an option anymore. Which I guess I don't even believe that for myself, and here's why. Because in the next episode, we actually mentioned it, and we're actually not going to cover the next episode, but in the next episode, like, you guys should watch it, and we'll briefly talk about it in next week's episode, but it's not going to be the topic, is that Maul schools Savage, because he immediately challenges him when Savage is like, we should be equals, and he's like, that's such a stupid fucking idea, why would you ever say that? And kicks the crap out of him, like and he teaches him, he's like, there's always two, a master and an apprentice, and you are the apprentice, and kind of pokes him in the chest a little bit. And by him acknowledging that, he's essentially saying, I am going to retake the mantle of the Sith, which eventually means that he is going to challenge Palpatine. So it's not even, it seems like he's not even saying like, oh, I want my spot back. He's saying, no, I still want to be the top dog. I still want to be the top dog. Sidious puts him in his place pretty well.
Could have gone better for him. All right, we're moving on to our next part where Maul and Savage travel to Rhydonia to set up a trap for Kenobi because, of course, that's going to work. There's only one way to get the attention of a Jedi, and that is through the slaughter of the innocent, mercilessly and without compromise. Again, show for kids, and they heavily imply, if not show, that like 5 people get decapitated. We saw that. We saw it on the hologram. I saw
the hologram, yep.
Yeah, I saw the same hologram you did. Just because you didn't see the head, it's Jango Fett all over again. Like, hey man, we know his head's gone. They're all dead.
They are super dead.
Crazy.
And not to mention, he also just like razes the village to the ground. Like, he just lights the whole thing on fire. He just says like, he's like, yeah, they'll know exactly where I am because they'll be able to see the pillar of smoke from space.
Come and get me, Jedi. But again, he's like, you must come alone. And then he still burns everything. I'm like, hey man, you should have brought backup. Mace Windu was right. And also, he's one of the best duelists in the Order. I'm like, he didn't stop killing people the whole time. It's not like he's like, I'm just going to kill more people. Wait right here while I go kill more people. Like, dude, show up. Mace Windu's in the cargo compartment. Jump out when you get there once you need reinforcements, and then kill them both.
Yeah, because it's not even like a hostage situation where Maul is like, if you don't come alone, I will kill the hostages. He's like, I am actively killing hostages. Show up by yourself. Like, Maul actually doesn't have any negotiating power at that point, and because he probably just kills everyone in the village, they should have just destroyed that. They should have just shot him from orbit. I don't understand. And so
Star Wars has a lack of orbital assassinations.
Yes, and Thrawn is like, we should do this more, and Thrawn becomes like extremely powerful and wins a lot of fights because he's like, why would I go down there? Why would I deploy ground troops? Fire the laser cannons.
Have you heard of turbo lasers? Because they'll eat you alive.
So kind of what we're talking about is Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Mace Windu are watching this hologram in the council chambers or whatever, and Obi-Wan,
it's a side room, brother. Come on, it's a side room.
Wherever it is, Obi-Wan turns down the offer of reinforcements from Mace Windu, and then Yoda is sitting there in the conversation, and Yoda's like, actually, yeah, I agree. I think you should go alone. And I'm like, dude, you're a bad leader, Yoda. You are high on ketamine, probably as we speak. You're a bad Jedi, and this is why the Jedi Order fell, because you give bad wisdom. Like, how are you 1,000 years old and so stupid? But Yoda is like, I sense another is going to come to help you. Like, he's alluding to Asajj coming to the aid of Kenobi, but he puts a maybe in there. She's like, yeah, he might show up. Maybe. We'll see. And I'm like, dude, Mace Windu should have just like been like, yeah, I'm gonna go. Like,
Shatterpoint, bitch. Like, let's go. Got you in your weird knee.
Yeah, like, so it's so stupid. Obi-Wan goes alone, and like, we actually have to cover one thing. So the reason Asajj shows up at all, and this is actually the detail that I missed at the beginning, because my first watch through, I missed where Asajj picks up the bounty on Savage, because apparently it was huge.
Oh yeah, it's 1 million credits. Yeah,
it's like 1 million credits or something. And
watch
Asajj
out,
is like,
boys, this one's mine.
Yeah. So she's like, yeah, girl power. I'm gonna get rich by killing this guy, which is like, sure, slay. So she is then on her way to this planet because it's probably like on the evening news that like Maul and Savage are destroying this village. Like, right. It's not a secret where they are at this point. And so she shows up. Also, I would like to point out, as we talked about glup shittos earlier, we also see Embo, the bounty hunter, in this bar. Y'all are really going to like him in the Mandalorian movie. So he is a Kyuzo bounty hunter who carries a bowcaster as his primary weapon and his super strong metal-lined hat as a secondary, which he just whips at people like a killer frisbee, and it's awesome. He also, like, while he's got this like big Ronin energy, he also usually has travels with a companion with his pet Anuba named Merrick. which is like the fourth character in Star Wars whose name is Merrick. It's like Marok or something. It's like barely spelled differently.
Can I say that the name Anuba is lazy?
Why? Does that mean dog?
I'm pretty sure it's just like close to dog, because Anubis was like the god, an Egyptian god with a dog head. And I'm like, that's just Anubis with a different spelling. Feels kind of lazy.
You are not allowed to point that out, actually. So,
comment rescinded. Sorry, guys.
Yep. Sorry, guys. Not allowed. Declined. Vetoed. With my zero amount of executive power. So Asajj is coming to the rescue, essentially, is how that goes down.
Yes, because when Obi-Wan gets to the planet, he's like, oh, that is you. That's surprising. You looked dead when I cut you in half. Running into people from your past is hard. You have to act excited. You have to make small talk. And they always try to sell you something. I get it, man. It's awkward.
Maul actually has supplements. He's like, you will become a distributor and become your own boss.
Oh my god, yeah, seriously. So Maul and Savage, can we say kick the shit out of him?
They do kick the shit out of him. That is the legal definition of what they do to him.
And then why does Obi-Wan survive?
Dude, this makes no sense. Other than plot armor, I can kind of understand that.
Thick ass plot armor.
Okay, but the actual reason is that he takes him back to his ship so he can torture him. And because he does say, he's like, I'm going to cut you into tiny little pieces, and I'm going to make sure that you stay alive during the process so that you can feel all of the agony that I have felt. So he needs to draw it out. So like the simple
Not a proportional response. Not a proportional response. One cut through the midsection, again, immediately cauterized, cutting into a bunch of pieces. Nope, not a proportional response. Just saying.
He's not really all there, so like he's not really thinking clearly, even though
dude, he did one round of therapy. Please, he's thinking clearly.
He's like, yeah, actually the magic shaman woman took all of the bad thoughts out of my head, so I'm totally fixed now.
I did better help, thank you very much.
So Maul also just declares, he's like, hey, I have been kept alive through the power of hatred. Very much like Darth Sion, which you have very astutely pointed out in previous episodes. I think about that all the time. I'm like, that's such a good throwback to Legends, and Dave Filoni is really good about bringing back Legends stuff in one way, shape, or form. But he's like, through the power of hatred, and I'm like, dude, what about the power of friendship? Have you tried that? And he's like, no, absolutely not. You should try rage and spite. It's gotten me way farther. Try that instead. The dark side keeps you alive.
First of all, through hate, all things are possible. So jot that down.
Brother,
Do you know what show that's referencing?
Through hate, all things are possible.
That line, but it's not hate. It's Jesus. That's probably that's a quote from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He goes, first of all things through Christ are possible, so jot that down. And then he proceeds to just go off on some nonsense. I was hoping you get that. Maybe that's
very funny.
Some of our listeners will get that.
I have not really a partaker in Always Sunny. Sorry.
Good. It'll kill your brain cells, but it is really funny though. There are some jokes in there that do not age well. Oh boy. We then go through, Andrew, you had some notes about how Savage fights.
Yeah, so he fights like a berserker, like a brawler. He's very light on the form. He literally is just swinging punches, which, don't get me wrong, Obi-Wan does not have a lightsaber, and he's getting the poop pushed out of him. He's really just, thank goodness Obi-Wan is, so tough. He's probably using the force to keep his heart beating at this point, because he's getting beat so hard. So you remember in the previous episode when Anakin and Ahsoka are tracking Savage? So they do not show up. I don't even know why they showed up in the first episode, because Anakin does not care about authority. He wouldn't have asked the Jedi Council. If he heard that Obi-Wan was being beaten to death by the man who almost ran him over with a speeder, he'd be like, yeah, I'm going to do what I did to Maul, the same thing I did to the Tuskens. All right, we're gonna take this guy out.
You guys are doing a bad job at protecting your friends.
But they just don't show up. So Asajj has to finally arrive in the nick of time to jump off of her ship, sneak over to their ship, board it as it's taking off so she can save Obi-Wan. And like, remember, she is just there to collect a bounty, and then she realizes very quickly that she's actually outmatched, so they get in this a pretty cool lightsaber fight.
Well, and she realizes that Maul is there, and she's like, yeah, I can't fight both of you. It's going to be really tough.
Actually, he'll kill me. Like, she knows. Like, if it were an RPG, Asajj is looking at Maul, and there's a red skull next to Maul's name, and she's going, oh, no. No, thank you.
This is not going to go well. You can't spend 1 million credits if you're dead. She also calls Obi-Wan ugly.
Yeah, she's like, your face is hard to look at. I'm like, sorry, are we looking at the same person?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm like, even animated Obi-Wan has some sharp features. That beard, man, I would kill for that beard.
Yeah, get in line, folks. Come on.
So during this fight, a couple interesting things happen. If I were Maul, the moment I saw that my advantage went away, I would just move in for the kill on Obi-Wan. Immediately be like, you know what, this isn't working out, but if I'm going to kill Obi-Wan, it's going to have to be now. And he actually has a few opportunities in the fight that I will bring up. But they start fighting and they do all these things. At one point, Maul roundhouse kicks Obi-Wan with his metal legs and sends him flying like 20 feet through the cargo hold into some pretty dense looking boxes. That should have killed him, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Minimum damage, broken ribs, lacerations, probably internal bleeding, puncture wounds. Like, something's going wrong there.
Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense. Obi-Wan is able to just stand right back up. I'm like, all right, dude, you're tough as nails, right on. And so he immediately tries to gain some high ground, but because he maybe isn't far enough in his career yet, he doesn't understand that he's supposed to cut the legs off of the guy as he's jumping off, not after. So Maul then just meets him on the ground he's at, and then Maul tries to metaphorically bring Obi-Wan down to his level by goading him with his rage. He's like, do you remember your master? Because I remember your master because I killed him. And one thing that Obi-Wan, and like Obi-Wan kind of falls for it. Like, Obi-Wan, like, tries to tap into his rage, and he's not successful. Maul essentially is just like, dude, you're, like, not good at the dark side. I'm gonna beat the crap out of you at this point. And at one point, he has Obi-Wan facing away from him, no lightsaber out, and chooses to kick him over a railing instead of stabbing him through the heart. So, like, Obi-Wan was dead to rights, fight over, and Maul misses his chance in multiple opportunities because he chose to kick him and not cut him down. It's wasted opportunity.
Oh my god, what are these robes made out of? They're so soft. Is this genuine plot armor?
That's so good.
So at this point, they escape. They know they can't win, so they get into the cockpit, which thankfully detaches from the rest of the cargo ship. And then Maul decides to be patient all of a sudden. You think this is weird, right? Like, am I the only one that was like, hey man, this is out of character for you? He's like, I've waited for years for my revenge. I can wait a little longer. You just killed a village to get this guy here as soon as possible.
Yeah, the thing I would have expected from Maul at this point is a very valid crash out. Like, just him hacking stuff to pieces all over the place. I would have expected him to let loose one of his legendary screams again. And he's like, no, actually, I'm fine. Like, this is fine. This is all according to plan. It's like, no, it's not. Right? Like, no, it isn't.
This is going very poorly for everybody. All right, folks, we are heading into our next segment, which hopefully you guys are really enjoying. It's our trivia segment that we call Lore Legends. The current score is Andrew up 1 point with 8-4, and I am right behind 7-5. In Lore Legends, we are essentially playing 2 truths and a lie. We're going to give each other 3 items, and the other has to identify which item is the legends, i.e. the false item, and you get a point if you get it correct. Andrew, would you like to start us off today?
I would. Your first category today is going to be Special Forces. First referenced in Attack of the Clones, then fully realized in the FPS Republic Commando featuring Delta Squad, we see Boss and the gang take a tour starting at the first Battle of Geonosis. Then they investigate a ghost ship aboard an abandoned Venator left to drift in the void, and then intervene at the Separatist invasion of Kashyyyk. The Clone Wars reintroduced Delta back into canon when they assigned a covert op to retrieve the body of a fallen Jedi after Savage Opress goes on his rookie year rampage. Second one, the Bad Batch, first introduced in Season 7 of the Clone Wars. The Bad Batch is a squad of clone troopers who exhibit specific mutations to increase their combat effectiveness. Hunter is the pack leader and his heightened senses. Tech is the computer guy. Wrecker is the bomb enthusiast, and Crosshair is their sharpshooter. Also, this perfectly mirrors Delta Squad, just saying. Third is the ARC Troopers. Known as Advanced Recon Commandos, the ARC Troopers are a special flavor of crazy and are typically promoted to the rank of ARC after showing extraordinary levels of bravery and capability in combat. Before being rescued by the Bad Batch, notable ARCs included Echo and Fives when they were promoted after their exceptional service in the face of danger when the Separatists attacked the Rishi Moon before the Battle of Kamino. Which one of those is the lore and which item is the legend?
So that's really tough because I'm pulling out a lot there that I'm like, okay, that's true, that's true, that's true. Can you hit me with number 1 again, please?
The Clone Commandos, first referenced in Attack the Clones, then fully realized in the first-person shooter Republic Commando, which also featured Delta Squad. Boss and the gang then take a tour starting at the first Battle of Geonosis. They investigate a ghost ship, an abandoned Venator left to drift in the void, and then intervene at the Separatist invasion of Kashyyyk. The Clone Wars reintroduced Delta back into canon when they were assigned a covert op to retrieve the body of a fallen Jedi after Savage Opress goes on his rookie year rampage.
And remind me what the topic for item number 3 was.
ARC Troopers.
ARC Troopers.
So you have Clone Commandos, the Bad Batch, and then ARC Troopers.
So I am stuck between 2 details here. 1, you referenced the Clone Commandos as being first introduced in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
They're mentioned. They're briefly mentioned. I want to say it's Pons actually comes up to Mace Windu and he's like, the commandos are already in the field, and Mace is like, great, and the scene ends. That's it.
Okay, sweet, thanks. It really narrows it down for me. So with that being said, I don't know what battle the Fives and Rex, I think you had said.
Yes, Echo and Fives.
Sorry. So Echo and Fives, I don't know when they got their commas, which are their half skirts. I don't know what battle it is. So I'm going to say, I think you're going to try to trick me up on that one because I couldn't find anything wrong with number 2 because you did put those in order. It goes from Geonosis, or no, is there a 4th planet, or is it just the 3?
It's Geonosis, the ghost ship Venator, and
then Kashyyyk.
The Kashyyyk.
Is there really only 3 campaigns there?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's wild.
Because the Venator is full of the Trandoshans,
and then you fight
Geonosins.
a bunch of droids later, yeah. So I am going to have to say this is item number 3, because that is the only one with a detail that I can't fully remember.
That is incorrect. The Rishi Moon is the listening outpost. That is the essentially the front guard for any fleet that would be approaching Kamino. And they send in the commando droids, and they are almost successful at destroying the Rishi Moon outpost, but because of their bravery, they're able to get a signal out and warn the Republic as the Separatist fleet still invades Kamino. But they had warning, hey, the British are coming. Do you want to know what the legend is?
Yes.
So I actually said it a couple times in the very end. I said the ghost ship Venator. It's not a Venator.
It's an acclimator. You're the worst. Oh my God.
I said it a lot, dude.
I was more worried about you calling it the ghost ship. Because I was like, yeah, it's a derelict ship.
The Venator was not in service yet, so it's an acclimator.
Wow. Are you ready for your first one?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I thought you would get that.
The theme for my first one is magics. I have used this theme before. Item number 1. Psychers in Warhammer 40k emerged in the 22nd millennia. These little freaks were so useful that they found their way into the Imperial Navy as navigators, into the Imperial Army as sanctioned psychers, and into Space Marine chapters as librarians. These weirdos were so useful that the Ordo Malleus is made up mostly of psychers. They have entire task forces of psychers accompanied by non-psycher support units of guardsmen and Space Marines, depending on the fighting units. So Space Marines would fight with Space Marines, guardsmen would fight with guardsmen. Not trying to trip you up on that last detail. Item number 2. The Force works in mysterious ways. Kind of a lame excuse if you ask me. Force powers can allow a user to push, pull, use telemetry, talk to plants, soothe animals, deceive and persuade, shock, drain life, absorb energy, create super weapons of imprisonment, referring to the thought bomb, telekinesis, and of course give you a +5 to all acrobatics checks. Item number 3. Every Eldar is born a psyker. Back to Warhammer here. This is obviously a good thing in combat, but also as a component to the downfall of the species. The birth of Slaanesh swallowed most of the species, and the remaining split into 5 major food groups: the Exodites, the Drakari, the Craftworld Eldar, the Harlequin, and the Yunari.
Dude, I have no idea. I have no flippin' idea. I know the least bit about the Eldar, so I'm leaning towards that. Can you name the 5 Eldar factions, I guess?
The Exodites, the Drakari, and this is as an entire species, not just the Eldari, Craftworld Eldar, the Harlequin, and the Yunari.
So I think it's that one because I think there's another kind of subset of Eldar that is distinct, and that's the Asuryani. Like, I think they should be included in that list. My final answer is the third one is the Eldar, because I don't know anything about the first 2. Like, it all sounded right. That all sounded right.
Well, that's wrong. Yep, there we go.
Oh, dang it.
What word did you use?
Asuryani.
I believe that is actually a synonym for the Craftworld Eldar.
That's obnoxious.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't know. I have no idea.
So this one lies in a very, very small detail, specifically in item number 1. These weirdos were so useful that the Ordo Malleus is made up of mostly psychers.
Is it all psychers?
It is 100% psychers.
Well, because I knew the Grey Knights are 100% psychers, but I couldn't say for certain that everyone else was. Like, I was not willing to bet on that. Like, that's hard. I got him. Yeah, you did.
Trying to get me with your glup shittos. All right, so here's the problem, is that you are still winning. That puts you to 8-5, and I am 7-6. So we need to go into our next round so we can maybe even up this score. Andrew, go ahead and hit me with your next item, please.
All right, your category is Combat Automata. So the B-1 Battle Droid. 10 years before the kickoff of the Clone Wars at Geonosis, we saw the B-1 battle droid used by the Trade Federation at the blockade of Naboo. This unit was relatively cheap to produce and was all about quantity. They weren't all that mobile or tough or really intelligent, and would later be replaced by the Commando Droid, the B-2 Super Battle Droid, and Tactical Droid models in their ranks. The B-1 was controlled from a central location aboard a nearby Lucrehulk class battleship, and during the Clone Wars, the B-1 was actually upgraded to be slightly more autonomous and phased out the need for central control ships. That's the first one, the B-1. The second one, Destroyers. One of the most effective killing machines of the Clone Wars is aptly called the Destroyer Droid, or Droidicas. These roly boys could tuck in their legs and arms and quickly maneuver around the battlefield so they could set up and redeploy their personal shields and put down incredible amounts of firepower. The shield itself, perhaps in homage to Dune, maybe, blocked all energy attacks and also fast-moving projectiles. In order to counter these shields, clones would use droid poppers that they would slowly roll through the energy shields and incapacitate the destroyers. It's like bocce ball with grenades. Third one.
Okay.
The last one is Arc Raiders. So this is the only non-Star Wars clue I'm giving you in this whole segment.
All right, bring it on.
In Arc Raiders, the Arc are the extremely hostile robots that have driven humanity underground. Every single Arc in the game is made to directly deal as much damage to the player characters and turn them into Swiss cheese. The Wasp features a high rate of fire. The Sentinel seeks to down the Raiders via a single high-powered round. And the Arcs, like the Bombardier and the Rocketeer, are less discerning and just fire high explosives in your general direction.
Can you read me the first sentence of number 3, please.
In Arc Raiders, the Arc are the extremely hostile robots that have driven humanity underground. Every single Arc in the game is made to directly deal as much damage to the player as possible and turn them into Swiss cheese.
I'm going to have to say that one is the Legends, because not every Arc is built to deal incredible amounts of damage. Specifically, the Snitch and the Spotter. Both of those are Arc that deal damage in secondarily. They get other Arc to do the damage for them, so that I'm going to say that it is item number 3.
Can you name the 2 other Arcs that do exactly that?
There's 2 more.
I'll give you a clue. They don't really move all that much.
Oh, so the security cameras and the metal detectors.
I actually was going for the Probe and the Courier. Like, they're the ones that just sit there in our lootables. Those are technically live Arc. I mean, the Couriers look pretty dead.
Well, the Couriers are dead. We don't see live Couriers, but they were live.
Yeah, but they don't deal damage to the player either. So, yeah, that's exactly right. Good job.
Nice.
Was that 2 on the nose?
That one was pretty easy. Although there was part of number 1 that made me want to switch it out because you used the word replaced for B1, and the B1s weren't replaced. They were used all the way through the Clone Wars. So if that was not so obvious an answer, I was going to pick number 1.
I meant to say something along the lines of they bolstered the ranks of the B1 and not replaced.
Well,
so
I would have clarified my answer before getting in there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's totally on me. I meant to like switch it up as I was reading it and didn't do a great job. So but you totally got it. Yeah.
All right.
Good job.
Let me update our score really quick. That puts me 8-6, and you're 8-5.
You're half a point behind.
Yes. All right. So, Andrew, your theme for item number 2 is dogs.
Oh, no.
Item number 1. Calf hounds from Star Wars were pack hunters found on the planet of Tatooine. Along with a strong jaw and thick fur, some of these hunters even sported long, curling horns. Item number 2. The cyber mastiff of the grim dark future would not make a good house pet. These creatures were so heavily augmented with armor plates, reinforced jaws, and mechanical legs that any encounter on the wrong end of these creatures meant a good mauling. No pun intended based on the episode. Some were even outfitted with shock jaws or chain blade weapons in their jaws alongside of magnetic feet, which meant they could bite you, tear you to shreds, all while standing perfectly rooted to the floor. Item number 3, the Vulptex, a fox-like species native to Dakar, the place where the Resistance had to flee from the First Order in The Last Jedi, boasts a crystalline coat that jingles and sways in the breeze. These creatures hunted in packs and were said to have developed their coats after emerging from feeding on the surface of this planet.
Can you read the third one again?
The Vulptex, Vulptex, a fox-like species native to Dakar, the place where the Resistance have to flee from the First Order in The Last Jedi, boasts a crystalline coat that jingles and sways in the breeze. These creatures hunted in packs, and they were said to have developed their coats after emerging from feeding on the surface of the planet.
Okay, so I know nothing about the Cybermastiff. So if that is it, that's rude. The only thing I know about them is from the trailers of the new Dark Tide class. That's the only thing I really understand about their behavior. That's all I got. I do not think it's number 2, though. I don't think it's number 1 either. Like the Cathhounds, that sounds familiar. The only thing for that one is I don't really remember if they had horns or not. But also when I encountered them in Knights of the Old Republic, the graphics were pretty bad. I just don't remember. I'm like, was it 1 pixels or 2 pixels on the side of their head?
3.
I do think it is the third one. I think that is the legend because you mentioned that it was the planet Dakar. That's not the planet that they flee to. I can't remember what it's called. They flee from Dakar. They flee from Dakar, but the foxes are on Dakar.
The foxes are native to Dakar.
The ones with the really diamondy coats,
crystalline coat that jingles and sways in the breeze. Yes.
Yeah, they're on Crate. That's where the foxes are. Okay. They're seen on Crate. That's my final answer.
Yeah, you got it 100%.
Oh gosh, I was like, oh crap. Damn it! I was like, I don't really know if this is right, but I don't have a good backup. I'm not confident in the other ones. Yeah.
9-6, you brother. So you maintained your lead.
Bullocks! Just barely.
Damn. I was really hoping to get you with the dogs.
And I definitely thought you were going to get the Venator. I was like, he knows. He knows. Of course he knows. We even talked about the acclimators.
I know we talked about the acclimator. I was like, that's so rude.
I was trying to actually steer us away from that. I was like, dude, if he's got this ship on his mind, I am going to have a hard time.
I've got a tab open right now that says how many acclimators landed at Geonosis, and then another tab for First Battle of Geonosis. And I still messed it up. Oh, guys. Andrew, do we have anything else we want to finish out with?
Not really, no. We don't really have any nerddom news other than we're still waiting on news for the games that are coming out this year, including Galactic Racer and Zero Company, and we haven't heard anything new about Fate of the Old Republic and Star Wars Eclipse. There's no news on that front.
Absolutely. Pretend this is a data disk, and it's holding the projection of Savage Press My Bounty. Huge thanks to all of our patrons, Mike, Isaac, and David. You guys can also support us over on our Patreon channel, where we're going to maybe try to do some D&D stuff. We talked about it in our Patreon episode. You get special behind-the-scenes episodes for being a patron. You get other reports. We do lightsaber giveaways. We do all sorts of gaming events. And if you just think this show is worth the time, make sure you guys support us over there. If you can't do that, if finances are getting you down right now, like if you're me and my power bill, watch our YouTube videos and interact with them. Guys, we need all the support we can over there because we need to monetize those channels so we can make that another form of income to, again, support more additional projects. That's redundant. Additional projects for the podcast. Make sure to follow us on all our socials, like The Rebellion. We have friends everywhere, and everybody, may the Force be with you.